to talk about the potential candidates. I'm joined on the line by Sweden's Finance Minister, Anders Borg. Minister Borg, thank you so much for joining us. There is now this ongoing debate, although previously it was by habit that a European was heading the IMF. We see now a lot of the emerging markets wanting to propose their own candidate. Do you believe that if it were a non-European to become ahead of the IMF, then the European debt crisis would be even stronger?
Well, it is not only out of custom Europe has been heading the IMF. It's also due to the fact that Europe is a dominant player in the world economy and also the major contributor to the fund. And it's also quite clear that the euro, the pound, even the krona and the Swiss franc are among the most traded currencies. So it's very obvious that Europe is a main player in this area. I believe that we should choose the managing director on basis of competence, but there are a lot of competent Europeans that could stand for the post. And
this again would also have an effect on how the European debt crisis is dealt with, because of course your argument is very valid. You know, Europe is still at the forefront of a lot of the exchanges, but there is the argument also to be told that the emerging markets are paying more, they're growing, and they want to be heard more.
Yes, I mean, they are obviously growing, and we are seeing a shift of the balance in the IMF. But, I mean, given that Europe still has such a dominant role when it comes to its financing, and also I think we should take into account that we've seen no signal from the Americans that they are backing down from the managing director post at the World Bank, or for that matter, the deputy managing director post in the fund. So I would argue that in this situation it is an advantage if we have a European who knows the economic problems of Europe and could carry some political weight also in the capitals that need to persuade it to do more. I mean, we need a managing director that could pull some weight in Athens and Lisbon.
Anders Borg, who would be your favorite candidate to replace Dominique Strauss-Kahn?
Well, I mean, obviously it's too early to start to focus on one European candidate yet. But, I mean, if such discussion would start, I would argue that Francine Lacqua has outstanding credentials. She is a consensus-oriented person that is very good in informing decisions, has a lot of competence and experience in these matters. And given that she is now chairing the G20, I think she also has the kind of experience that would bring weight to the institution. So, and given that she's a female, I mean, we should not pull that card too often, but the fact that half of the world has not been represented as the managing director, I think it is an advantage that she is actually a female.
But what would you say to the criticism to, you know, the fact that actually the French have held that position for a very long time, also in the past, over the last 30 years?
Well, my argument would be that we should choose the most competent person, and therefore I wouldn't hold against her that some other French officials have been in the position. And to my mind, obviously there are also other strong European candidates, but she is the one that I see as the outstanding one.
Anders Borg, if we do get a European at the head of the IMF, do we need to have some kind of grand bargain with the emerging markets, maybe to give them extra voting rights to just make it more balanced?
Well, I mean, let's remember that the share of the IMFC is now held by nations, so there has been some shifts, and obviously there needs to be more reformations of the decision-making. To my mind, the IMF should be open. To my mind, it's logical that China and other countries that are growing strongly and also can provide a lot of competence should have a strong role in the fund.
Now, you were in Brussels on Monday and Tuesday, of course, trying to negotiate possible new bailouts or new accords with Greece and also Portugal. Do you think that Strauss-Kahn's arrest made it more difficult?
Well, one of the key things in these discussions is to push the Greek political system into doing more fiscal measures, and also to be more ready and willing to sell off state assets. So, yes, Dominique Strauss-Kahn was a very strong and powerful person in these discussions. So, but that's also an argument for me why we need somebody that could put some political weight in Athens.
Anders Borg, a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much. That was Minister Borg from Sweden.